Rata & Co auctioneer number 13 Wingate Court in Mill Park. My name is Robert Ozzimo. I proudly represent the company of Harcourts, Rata & Co. Award-winning colleagues including, if you do require advice, please feel free to approach either Daniel, Lou, and of course Miss Rose Mickoska. We've also got Michael at the back there. Mickoska, who no doubt you've had the great opportunity of meeting throughout the marketing campaign. Guys, let me share with you the following announcements which in place to help you bid and buy with absolute confidence here today. The auction will be conducted in accordance with the rules and any additional conditions that were made available for inspection before the start of the auction. The auction rules prohibit an auctioneer from accepting bids or offers for a property after the property has been knocked down to the successful bidder. The vendors have a reserve price as the auctioneer. I'll indicate bidders on request. The law prohibits false bids, prohibits major disruptions by bidders, and prohibits bidders attempting to prevent others from bidding, and provides for fines for such conduct. The rules permit for vendor bids. The words I'll use during the auction to indicate that I'm making a bid on behalf of the vendor are vendor bid, and by law only I, as the auctioneer, can make a vendor bid. The contract of sale has been on display prior to today's auction. We call for a 10% deposit upon the fall of the hammer and the signing of that contract to take place here today, with the balance to be paid at settlement in a flexible 40 to 90 days time, at which time the vendor will provide the lucky buyer with vacant possession of the property. All in all, quite a straightforward contract. Everything is in here. Everything is quite clear. So buyers, is with my highest recommendation what we offer for your consideration and competition here today. A great opportunity for the first home buyer, an awesome opportunity for any family looking for the perfect family package. And the perfect family package starts with a perfect family location, and that's what the Crestwood Estate offers. Here you can see up and down the street some very house proud owners. Not very high turnover in the Crestwood Estate, and for very good reason. Once you move in to the Crestwood Estate, you tend to stay, and this is where you make your memories and grow your family. Access to absolutely everything you need for convenience and capital growth. Not far away at all from Rivergum Shopping Centre. Parkland is close as the end of the street. Easy access to a number of transport routes, and of course easy access to good quality schools, both primary and secondary, littered throughout the surrounding streets. The property itself, the perfect family package, as I said, a nice free flowing floor plan, huge open space living at that back, that perfect undercover alfresco, perfect for relaxing or entertaining. It ticks absolutely every single box here. The only thing that's missing from this package is you and your family, and you've got the opportunity to complete that today to get the sold sticker up on the board. So buyers, if you'd like to be the one to reserve that right, now is your time to do just that. Where can I see a fair and reasonable starting bid for number 13 Wingate? Who'd like to start us off? I don't mind the call, buyers. I'm in your hands. Start me where you like. Always the most quiet part of an auction. Sorry? 500. At 500,000. I did ask for a start soon. I appreciate that. I will take the 500, but I'll move along with a vendor bid at 800 if you don't mind, and I'll give you the first opportunity to come back in at 825 now. At 800,000, my bid's against yours. At 800,000 now, fairly been offered at 800,000. Even money, can I say 25, sir? At 800,000. At 800,000 now, 25 opportunity with you. At 800,000, looking for a quarter and top. At 800, the bid now. Once. I'm asking for 25, sir. Can I say 25 in the rise? At 25 now, thank you and welcome. Best of luck here today at 825. Bids at 825,000, 8 and a quarter. At 825,000, fairly been offered now at 825. Same courtesy to every other buyer here today. 25 in the rise. At 825,000, what do you say, sir? 50. At 825,000 now, fairly been offered 825 the bid. At 825,000, once. At 825, are we done? At 825,000, second call at 825. We done? Finished? At $825,000. They're gonna hate me if I take 10. It's got to be 25 in the rise. I refused it over there. I've got to refuse it here. Can I say 50? At 825,000 and 50 now, and welcome and best of luck at 50, and the bid's there now at 850. At 850,000, couldn't do it to you at 850,000, 8.5 in the bid's here, opportunity with you now. At 850,000, fairly been offered. At 850 the bid. At 850,000, fairly been offered, 2 in it now. At 850. At 850,000, fairly been offered now.
860.
I'll shorten my stride and get you involved at 60, and the same courtesy here at 10 if you like. At 70 now, and welcome back at 70. At 870,000, I'll take the 10 now, Michael, if it helps. At 870 in the bid's here. At 870 the bid. At 870,000, fairly been offered now. 870, got to be 880 in the rise. At 870, 880 now. At 880,000, 90, can I say 900's better? At 880,000, at 880 the bid now. At 880,000, fairly been offered, bid here, my left, your right, opportunity with you. 80, what do you say? At 880,000, I'll give you a moment to think about it. I'll circle back at 880,000. At 880 the bid now. First call at 880,000. Done. At 880,000 twice. At 880. I won't take 5, but I will if you bid twice, sir. At 880,000. Got to be 10 in the aggregate. At 880,000, the bid's there. 10, can I say? At 880,000 now. At 880,000, fairly been offered. 880 the bid. Bid's there. Opportunity with you now. 880 for the first call at 880,000. Done. At 90 now, at 890,000, and 900 beckons now. At 890,000, the bid's there at 90. At 890,000, can I say cheeky 10 on top, sir? Make it 900, even money in the rise. At 890 and 900 now. At 900 the bid. At 900,000, fairly been offered at 900,000, the bid's there. No, sir, but I need to seek instructions at 900,000. At 900,000, if we do put it on the market, you want to be on your bid because it means you'll have the keys at that point. At 900,000, the bid's there. Opportunity with you. On the flip side, if we don't get there and we don't get it on the market, we can only deal with the highest bidder. So if you do want to put yourself in the box seat, you have to show me interest by bidding. So at 900,000, the bid's there. Opportunities with you now, though. Can I say 10? I'll take the 5 and get you back involved at 905, and the same courtesy at 5, at 905,000, at 905,000. $5,000 bid over there. Don't let it limit your potential though, so you can still bid me 10 and I'll take it. 10 on top?
10.
No, and 910. Bit cheeky of me, always assume the higher number. At 910,000, at 910,000, the bid's back there. Make it easy for the competition to come along with 5s. Perhaps bring me up back to 10, sir. At 910,000, fairly been offered now. At 910, the bid. At 910,000, bid there. Opportunity with you now. At 910,000. At 20, welcome, sir. Best of luck. Coming in with style. At 920,000. At 920,000, fresh bidding. Time to make a statement bid. At 920,000, and the bid's there. At 920, the bid. At 920,000 for the first call at 920. All done. Twice at 920,000. Done.
925.
At 25. At 925, and the bid's there. One bid not enough, sir. At 925,000. Fairly been offered out 925. At 30, welcome back at 30. At 930,000. At 930 the bid. At 950, no, that's a better bid, sir. Welcome back at 950,000. Made up for that low start. I appreciate it, sir. $950,000 a bid. Bid's there at 950 now. At 950,000, fairly been offered once at 950, twice at 950, third, final call at 950. Done, finished, silent and out. At 60 now, 960,000. Rose, can you please run inside and seek instructions? At 960,000. At 960,000, bid there. Was a great bid, sir, but wasn't enough. At 960,000, the bid's there now. 960 the bid. At 960,000, what do you say? What's the response? Got to be strong.
Let's see what happens.
At 900, well, sir, if there's no further action, he'll buy it. That's what will happen. At 960,000, the bid's there at 960. On the market and selling at 960,000. Bids there, keys are there at 960. Make absolutely no mistake about it. We sell here today at 960,000. Keys here now. If you've come to buy, show me now, bid me now, or forever hold your peace.
962.
At 962, what was that?
965.
At 5, I'll go with the 5 if you don't mind, Rose. But the opportunity to come on top if you like at 65. At 965,000 on the phone with Lou at 965. At 965,000, we're on the market, we sell at $965,000 a bid. At 66, and welcome back at 66. At 966 the bid. At 966,000, fairly been offered here at 66. At 966,000. At 70 now, 970,000. At 970,000, fairly been offered back here in the phone at 70. At 970,000, what do you say? Time for a big bid. At 970,000, fairly been offered. Bid there, keys there, opportunity here. At 70, once. At 970, all done. At 75, and welcome back, sir, at 75. At 975,000. What's the response, Lou? At 980 now. At 980,000, we're back there at 80. At 980,000, opportunity is still with you, but the keys are there as it stands. At $980,000 the bid. At 980 the bid. First call at 980,000. Done. Twice at 980. Done and finished. At 85, I thought I heard a bid coming from over there, but it was here. It's acoustics. 85 is there. It's against your bid at 985. At 985,000. At 985,000, fairly been offered at 985. At 985,000, bids there. Opportunity. At 90 now, 990. At 990,000, why don't we just get it done, sir? Say million. At 990,000, bids there, keys are there. We're on the market, we sell. Playing for keeps at 990 now. First call at 990,000, all done. At 995, inching ever closer. At 995, at 995,000, at 995,000, that's enough. At 995, looks like you've beaten one, so I'll just do a round and see whether you've beaten everyone else. At 995, at 995,000, fairly been offered, bids there, keys are there. At 995, are we definitely done here? Thank you very much for your bidding here today. So I need to know, I'm about to sell, in or out? So there's no more waiting. I'm going to count to 3, then I'm going to sell it. I'll take that as being out. Thank you very much for your bidding here today, sir. At 995,000, bids there, keys are there. Need to know, do I have your best here today? Definitely done. Thank you very much for your bidding. And we're done over here at 995. Definitely out over here. Thank you once more. At 995,000. Bids here, keys are here. If there's a bid coming there, so I need to know right now. At 995,000. We're done on the phone, Lou. First call at 995. Done. Twice at 995,000. Done. Finished. Third. Final call at 995. At 1, at 996, welcome. At 996,000, at 996,000, let's say a million, sir. At 996,000, you're one call away from having it sold and knocked down to you. At 996,000, the bid's there now. Looks like you've beaten everyone else. One more contender to go. At 996,000, fairly been offered at 996. At 997 now, at 997, at 997, the bid's back there, 98, at 998, at 998,000, bid back behind. Can I say million now? At $1 million, we got there in the end at 1. At $1 million, even money at that at 1. At $1 million, bids there, it's just a round number, don't let it scare you off at 1. At $1 million now, first call at 1 million, all done. Twice, at $1 million, done. Finished. Third, final call at 1 million and 1, at 1,000 on the mill, at 1 million and 1 now, $1 million and 5, $1 million and 5 now, at $5,000 on the mill now, at $1 million and 5, and the bid's back there, at 1 million and 5,000. It was a late run, make it count, at 1 million and 5,000. Can't buy like that, sir, only like this at 1 million and 5. Are you still with me? Bids there, keys are there. What do you say? At $1 million and $5,000 the bid. First call at $1 million and 5. Second call 1005 000. Third, final call
1 million and 7.
At 1 million and 7 now, another 2 on top. At 1 million and 7,000. At 1 million and 7,000, we're back there at 1 million and 7. At 1 million and 7,000, fairly been offered now. At 1 million and 10, and that's a better bid. 1010 million and 10. 1 million and 10 in the bids there. At 1010 0 000 to 1 million and 10. At 1 million and 10,000, you're definitely done now. I'll have your absolute best here today. Thank you very much for your bidding. At 1 million and 10,000, we're done there, done here. At 1 million and 10, once, twice, third, final call, $1,010,000 the bid, all done, all finished, silent out at 1,010,000. We're selling, 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 sold. Congratulations and well bid. Please join me in congratulating our purchasers and our vendors here today. You've just witnessed another successful Harcourts, Rata & Co.